Now let's just talk about the context of Proverbs, okay? Solomon had a vast reputation. He was, well, do you remember from Sacred Geography? I showed you this already. Solomon lived in Jerusalem, which is right about there. It's just kind of to the left and above the Dead Sea. Solomon was right there. Do you know what it says? People from all over the world came to see him and brought him presents. He had, right here, he had a port right down there, and he had another port right there. Did you know that he had boats that would go, what we have found, archaeologists have found in Jerusalem, stuff that he bought from India, stuff from Africa, stuff from all of the Mediterranean. So Solomon was amazing. He had people and goods from all over the world. And Solomon probably wrote his books, the 3 books from the 3 stages of his life. The young man in love, you know, out there in the vineyard with that young lady that didn't know he was the king. Isn't that the way? Marry someone that doesn't know you're rich and famous. Then they marry you for who you really are. Proverbs, from him at his zenith when he was the smartest man in the world. And Ecclesiastes when he was old and bitter and looking back on his wasted life. The wisdom that God offered Solomon, he neglected. And I'd like to explain to you why Solomon failed, okay? If you look at Deuteronomy 17, the Bible tells us a secret, which maybe some of you didn't even know. Look at Deuteronomy 17 and verse 18. Remember I said, how long does it take to read the whole Bible? How would you like to copy the whole Bible by hand? Have you ever thought about that? Look at Deuteronomy 17 and verse 18. And it shall be, when he, that's the king, sits on the throne of his kingdom, that he himself shall write a copy of this law in a book from the one before the priest. Did you catch that? When Solomon became king in 1 Kings 1, 38 to 40, the Bible said that the king was supposed to do his first act as king, which was God's road to lifelong usefulness. What was that? Well, a skilled scribe at his peak could copy the words of a page in 2 to 3 hours if everything was set for him. Ink, paper, pen, reader, etc. The Pentateuch has 5,852 verses, 160,000 words. At normal speed, it would take a minimum of 900 hours to do what Deuteronomy 17 said every king is supposed to do. Now think about what it meant to be a king. When Solomon became king, his dad left him 1,000,000 talents of silver and 100,000 talents of gold. He had an unbeaten army. David just beat everybody and conquered everybody and gave it all to his son. And God told him the first thing he was supposed to do is he's supposed to copy those 192 pages, those 160,000 words, not have someone else do it for him. He was supposed to take the time to copy the Bible as his first duty. Now, how many of you have ever read Deuteronomy and picked that up? Not very many people notice that. That was the first duty of the king, to copy a Bible. And do you know what it says in Deuteronomy? The king was not to multiply horses. Did Solomon multiply horses? Yes or no? Yes. Not multiply wives. How many did he have? Yeah, he had 300 wives, 700 concubines. I mean, he had 1,000. And not multiply gold and silver. Did you know David didn't multiply gold and silver? Do you know what it says in the Bible? Every time David got gold and silver, it says he presented it to the Lord. Solomon didn't. He kept it for himself.